The Indiana Fever continue to make massive moves in free agency, signing Sophie Cunningham and DeWanna Bonner. And you guys, I don't even think they're...
Can you believe what the Indiana Fever just did? They didn't just sign a few players, they went all in. Sophie Cunningham, Natasha Howard, and DeWanna Bonner aren't just names. They are game changers. Why does this matter? Because the Fever are done being pushed around. They are here to fight back. And trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next. Sophie Cunningham isn't just another WNBA player. She's a storm in sneakers, ready to defend Caitlin Clark and take on anyone who gets in their way.
So the Indiana Fever have got their enforcer. They have got their enforcer for Caitlin Clark. And I'm not gonna lie, like, when it comes to Caitlin Clark and their enforcer, last year everyone was talking about them needing an enforcer, and the closest thing they had was Erica Wheeler.
Remember how teams used to push Caitlin Clark around last season? Well, those days are over. Sophie Cunningham isn't here to make friends. She's here to bring the fight. If anyone even looks at Clark the wrong way, Cunningham will be in their face before they know what hit them. It's like the Fever just hired a personal bodyguard for their star player.
So Sophie honestly has a similar game to Lexi Hall. She is a tall guard who can shoot the three. She is nasty on defense. What I love about her is she brings this kind of spark and energy to the court. She is very feisty. She is not scared to go after it. And I feel like, will also act as an enforcer on this team.
Now, you might be thinking, isn't that just dirty play? But hold on. There's more to the story. Sophie Cunningham isn't just about toughness. She's a sharpshooter too. She can drain threes like it's second nature. Over the last 3 seasons, she's ranked in the top 20 in the WNBA for made three-pointers per minute. That's not just good, that's elite.
We know she can shoot, she can defend, she's athletic, she's tall, but she also brings this just grit and energy that this team is really going to thrive off of.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Cunningham's intensity is off the charts. Some people say it borders on psychotic. Can you believe she's been in more on-court altercations than some UFC fighters? It's true. There was this one time.
She tried to fight Maisha Hines Allen. You do not, there are not that many people. You can see everyone else is trying to get as far away from this situation as possible. Everyone else. So she hits a three. Maisha Hines Allen fouls her and then tries to step over. And then Sophie Cunningham grabs her leg. Nobody's going near Maisha Hines Allen, but no, Sophie Cunningham will start the fight. The refs are trying to break it up. None of the Mercury players are going to go near Maisha Hines Allen. They're scared. She's scared of bejesus out of them. Maisha Hines Allen is one of the toughest players in this league. Sophie Cunningham going head to head straight with her.
Now, you might be wondering, why does this matter for the Fever? Let me break it down. Cunningham is the enforcer the Fever desperately needed. She's not just protecting Clark. She's changing the entire team's dynamic. Imagine trying to guard Clark, knowing Cunningham is lurking, ready to make your life miserable if you play too rough. That's a game changer.
Teams are not going to be able to face guard Caitlin like they were, picking her up full court, double teaming her, all of these things, because there are now more threats on the court, including Sophie.
But Cunningham isn't just about toughness. Her offense is legit. She's been knocking down threes at an impressive 38% over the last 4 seasons. That's not just good. That's game-changing. Picture this. Clark drives to the basket, draws defenders, then kicks it out to Cunningham for a wide-open three. That's a nightmare for any defense.
The biggest part about her game that I think is just going to translate so well to the Fever, I just love the energy that she brings. She seems like a hard worker. She seems like she loves the game of basketball. And I think when the Fever are thinking about players that they want to surround Caitlin with and players that they want to build this dynasty with, which I believe that they're trying to do, they have to think about the mindsets of these players also.
The Fever didn't just sign a player. They added a weapon. Sophie Cunningham is like the Charles Oakley of the WNBA, tough, skilled, and never afraid to get in your face. This isn't just about protecting Caitlin Clark. It's about sending a message to the entire league. The Fever are done being pushed around. Now, they're the ones pushing back.
come to Phoenix. And she has been very vocal in the media that she loves Caitlin Clark's game and she would love to play with her at some point. And so I just feel like she is going to be a great fit for this team.
You thought the Fever were done after signing Sophie Cunningham? Think again, they just landed Natasha Howard. And this isn't just any signing. It's like adding a fortress to the team. Remember when the Fever were just another team in the league? Well, Howard is about to change all that.
Morning that the 3-time WNBA champion Natasha Howard will sign with the Indiana Fever as a free agent. The former Defensive Player of the Year and 2-time All-Star returns to the franchise that drafted her, bolstering the Fever's front court and bringing veteran experience.
Now, you might be wondering, what makes Natasha Howard so special? Let's break it down that she's not just good, she's championship good. We're talking about the 2019 WNBA Defensive Player of the Year. That's like winning an Oscar for making opponents cry on the court. But here's where it gets really interesting. Howard isn't just a shot blocker. She's a defensive mastermind who can guard multiple positions.
Natasha Howard is a game changer for the Indiana Fever. She is a game changer. As an Alyssa Smith replacement, as just a sole player, Natasha Howard is an absolute game changer for the...
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does this help Caitlin Clark? Imagine having a player who can protect the rim and stretch the floor. It's like having a Swiss Army knife on your team. Howard's presence opens up so many opportunities for Clark and the rest of the squad. It's not just about blocking shots and grabbing rebounds. It's about creating a defensive force field that lets the offense thrive.
You know, I thought the Howard move might have been the last major move for them, but maybe they're not done. Either way, I think, you know, Lexi Hull might be coming off the bench now with Sophie Cunningham in tow. Or, you know, either they get another wing player who can shoot and play D. That's huge. They add the defense, rebounding, rim running with Howard.
But Howard brings more than just skills. She brings a winning mentality. And that's something you can't teach. This is a player who knows what it takes to win championships. She was pivotal in the Storm's 2020 championship victory. And last season, she averaged 17.6 points and 6.7 rebounds per game for the Dallas Wings. That's clutch performance right there.
Just like I thought Natasha Howard was a perfect fit. So you've got a front office that comes in, brings in a new coach, and then addresses areas of need. And not just bringing in names, bringing in players that slide into spots, into slots, and bolster the roster.
Can you imagine trying to score against a team with Howard guarding the paint and Cunningham ready to get in your face? It's like trying to break into Fort Knox with a plastic spoon. The Fever aren't just building a team. They're creating a fortress around their crown jewel, Caitlin Clark.
Stephanie White, if you look closely at what she's doing, she is building a team around her, and a lot of these pieces that she is bringing in, the team that she is keeping around her at the Indiana Fever, are people that she has already worked with or already coached. Now, she had already coached Natasha Howard years back when she played in Indiana, and Coach Stephanie White was there as a coach, so she is familiar with her game. I'm sure that the two have stayed in touch over the years.
Just when you thought the Fever couldn't get any stronger, they pulled off another jaw-dropping move. Enter DeWanna, the 6-time All-Star who's about to turn this team from a fortress into an impenetrable castle. You might be thinking, wait, another player. How much better can this team get? Well, let me tell you, DeWanna isn't just any player. She's a game changer, a leader, and exactly what this team needs to go from good to unstoppable.
Tweeted 6-time All-Star and WNBA champ DeWanna Bonner is signing with the Indiana Fever by re-signing Kelsey Mitchell, trading for Sophie Cunningham, and signing experienced vets Bonner and Natasha Howard. The Fever have catapulted into the title conversation.
Now, you might be wondering, isn't Bonner past her prime? Well, that's where you'd be wrong. In 2022, experts thought age might slow her down, but boy, were they in for a surprise. Bonner is still performing at an elite level, and her impact goes way beyond the stat sheet. Can you believe she acts like a coach on the court, guiding younger players through high-pressure situations? That's not just experience, that's next-level mentorship.
Now, DeWanna Bonner is also a veteran in this league, and she can do it all. She can also shoot the three. She is also nasty on defense, which, if you guys remember last season, defense is something that a lot of people criticized the Indiana Fever for. That was something that they definitely needed to work on. Now you have Lexi, now you have Sophie, now you have DeWanna Bonner, now you also have Natasha Howard. Like, all of these women can defend.
But here's where it gets really interesting. Bonner isn't just there to give pep talks. She's still a force on the court, stretching defenses and making clutch plays. Imagine what it's like for a young team to suddenly have a player like Bonner in the locker room. It's like adding a secret weapon who can read the opponent.
Both DeWanna Bonner and Sophie Cunningham have the ability to play the 4, the 3, or the 2. All of them are versatile. DeWanna Bonner is 6'4", a lockdown defender, shoots the lights out. They're all versatile. Sophie Cunningham does the same. They are long defending shooters who have the versatility to play in different systems.
Now, you might be thinking, okay, but how does this help Caitlin Clark? Well, picture this. Bonner's three-point shooting opens up the floor for Clark's playmaking. It's like adding rocket fuel to an already blazing fire. The real question is, will opposing teams be able to handle the heat? But Bonner's impact goes even deeper. Remember how we talked about the Fever creating a fortress? Well, Bonner isn't just another brick in the wall. She's the architect, helping Clark design plays that'll leave opponents scratching their heads. This isn't just about protecting Clark anymore. It's about unleashing her full potential.
DeWanna Bonner is also an enforcer. She doesn't back down to anyone, and so I can just imagine the amount of technical fouls that the Fever might get this season, but I think it's going to be fun. You have Natasha Howard, you have DeWanna Bonner, and now you have Sophie, and Aaliyah Boston also is not afraid to be that enforcer.
You know that moment when a team goes from good to great? That's what DeWanna Bonner brings to the Fever. They had talent. They had grit. But they were missing something crucial. Experience. Bonner isn't just experienced. She's seen it all, done it all. And now she's ready to lead this young Fever team through the pressure of a title run.
DeWanna Bonner has signed for the Fever. The Fever. Champion, like, they have to go into the championship favorites. Like, they actually have to. They have to. By re-signing Kelsey Mitchell and trading for Sophie Cunningham and signing Bonner and Natasha Howard, the Fever have catapulted into the title conversation.
The real shock. Most people think Bonner's signing is just about her on-court skills or her off-court leadership. But they are both wrong. Bonner's true value lies in her ability to elevate everyone's game to new heights. She's not just a player, she's a multiplier, making everyone around her better.
She's a veteran. She knows how to win. She seems like she has a great attitude. I'm a huge fan of hers. She is tall. She will be able to stretch the floor. She will be able to play the 2 through the 4 when the Fever needs them. And she also likes to run the court, because that is something that we've been talking about, and the Fever have made it very clear that they want to run the ball this season. They want to play fast. They played fast last season, and that was something that was such an advantage for them. They're going to do it this season as well.
Remember when the Indiana Fever were just another team in the WNBA? Well, those days are long gone. The Fever aren't just making moves, they're orchestrating a complete transformation. And let me tell you, this isn't just about winning games. It's about sending a message to the entire league.
It might feel like I'm overreacting, but I don't think some people understand how big these signs are. Like, these are some of the best free agents that were available during this offseason, and also just available for the...
Now, you might be thinking, okay, they've made some big signings. So what? But here's where it gets really interesting. The Fever aren't just collecting star players. They're assembling a team with a purpose. It's like they are putting together a puzzle, and each piece fits perfectly.
They're not just going out and trying to sign the very best player that they can find. They're finding pieces, and there's a difference when you go into free agency and you're looking at it through the lens on putting together a team that's cohesive, putting together a team that makes sense, putting together a team that's not going to have drama in the locker room, that's going to have chemistry on the court. That's what they're doing.
Let's break it down. You've got Cunningham bringing the fire, Howard bringing the skill, and Bonner bringing the wisdom. But it's not just about individual talent. It's about how these pieces fit together. Can you imagine Caitlin Clark with all this support around her? It's like giving a supercar a brand new engine.
Said she is going to be able to add more space to the court, and that is something with Natasha Howard. You have a threat in her scoring the basketball, and her bag is pretty deep, and then obviously you have that veteran leadership. Obviously we know that Kelsey Mitchell can score the ball. Aaliyah Boston is expanding her game, and she's a threat inside. You have Caitlin Clark, but now you get someone like Sophie, who is also going to just create so much more space on the floor.
But here's the real kicker. Fever head coach Stephanie White isn't just sitting back and watching. She's been actively involved in shaping this roster. Did you know she was even at Caitlin Clark's jersey retirement? That's not just a coach picking players. That's a coach handpicking personalities that fit together.
A little bit more. So it's going to be so interesting to see what actually happens when Caitlin Clark is surrounded by veteran players who have been in the league, who have the experience under their belt, who know how to win.
Now you might be wondering, can all these big personalities mesh? That's the million-dollar question. But here's something that'll blow your mind. Experts are saying the Fever's free agency strategy wasn't just about signing great players. It was about finding players who excel individually and fit perfectly together. They're not just building a team, they're creating a family. And let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a second. She's not just excited about these signings. She's pumped.
I'm excited. Obviously, we made some great moves. I think, Kelly and Amber and the whole, Fever organization are, they're helping us win now. And I think that's really important. I think they're putting really good pieces together that are gonna, complement each other really, really well. And then obviously Steph taking over as head coach for us, I think is going to be really great, a great basketball mind, somebody that had actually called quite a few of my college games. So being able to build that relationship with her and just be in the gym and work on things that she probably saw when I was a freshman in college and was like, oh, that girl still can't make a left-handed layup. We're still working on that. But no, it's just exciting times. And I think you look around the WNBA and that goes for, all 13 teams now. And, there's real trade and there's real activity and there's fun free agency to follow, and that's what's making people so excited about it. That's going to attract more people to our league, is you get to follow these storylines. So it's really exciting, and I'm looking forward to next year.
Can you feel the urgency in her words? The Fever aren't playing for the future anymore. They're playing for right now. So what does this mean for the rest of the league? Well, that's where things get really interesting. The Fever have assembled a team that's not just ready to compete. They're ready to dominate. They are not just looking to win games. They're looking to win championships.
And Caitlin is so right when she says the Indiana Fever are trying to win now. It is so clear with these moves that they are making. It might seem, I'm going to say it again, it might seem like I'm going a little over the top here, but I honestly think, you guys, these are really big moves. They're really, really, really big moves.
But here's the thing. It's not just about talent on paper. It's about what happens when these players step on the court together. Will they gel? Will they click? That's the real test, and if they do, watch out, because this Fever team isn't just going to be good. They're going to be scary good. Can you believe what we've just witnessed? The Indiana Fever have gone from underdogs to unstoppable. They haven't just built a team. They've created a dynasty in the making with Cunningham's fire, Howard's skill, and Borna's wisdom. This isn't just about protecting Caitlin Clark anymore. It's about dominating the entire league.
So you've literally got, for me, positional versatility is huge, because Caitlin Clark can only really play the 1. Play a little bit at the 2. Kelsey Mitchell can only play the 2. Aaliyah Boston can only play the 5. Damir Stantos can kind of play the 4, should only play the 5. Can only play the 4 against slow teams. And then you've got DeWanna Bonner, Sophie Cunningham, who can both play 2, 3, 4. You've got Lexi Hall, who can play 2, 3. You've got Grace Berger, who can play 1, 2, 3. And you've got all this versatility, positional versatility in your team, and you're looking insanely good.
Now here's the big question. Are you ready to see history unfold? Because when the Fever hit the court next season, it won't be just another game. It'll be a revolution. The WNBA better watch out. The Fever are coming, and they're not playing nice. This is their time, their moment to shine, and trust me, you don't want to miss a second of it.